Hi, Susie Von Slaughter here, and you're watching The Horror Show. I'm here with the one and only Doug Bradley, Pinhead. Oh my gosh, this is such a huge, epic moment for me. I'm such a huge fan. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank God there's only one of me, right?
Right? So what has it been like being such an icon in the horror genre?
I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea how to answer that question. I accept that other people view me as that. I mean, it's not how I view myself, and it's not how I think of myself on a day-to-day basis. But people view me as such. People want to put me in the same bracket as people who are heroes to me, which is bothersome for me and slightly confusing. But this is a wonderful fan base, massively knowledgeable and hugely loyal, and I don't take them for granted or underestimate them for a single moment. If that is their judgment, then I'm very happy to take it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to fight it, let's put it that way.
Can you give us any updates on the new Hellraiser film?
We're talking about the remake? Mm-hmm. Not really, because I don't know anything. And when I say this, people think I'm sworn to silence, and that I'm hiding something. I have nothing to tell you because I have nothing to tell you. I don't know anything more than everybody else knows. It is 9 years since I first caught wind of plans to remake the first Hellraiser movie. As far as I can tell, I don't know that we're necessarily a great deal closer to it than we have been in the past. When it was first announced, Clive said he'd write it, said he'd direct it, then he said he'd only write it, then he stepped down from that, and I've watched directors and writers come and go and been attached, and it seemed that it was very close to going ahead and then not happening. And then a couple of years ago, Clive posted on his Facebook that the Weinsteins had been in touch and they wanted it to happen, and he said he'd write it, but he wanted me, and they'd said yes. And within a couple of hours, the Los Angeles Times is running a story with my name in the headline as being signed up to do this remake. I'm not signed up to do, if you'll pardon the French, jack shit. Nobody has spoken to me about it one way or the other, either to tell me that they would like me to reprise the role or to tell me to forget about it. I'm not losing sleep over it. My position on remakes in general is pretty well known. I have my t-shirt, which I paraphrase Pinhead, "No remakes please, it's a waste of good celluloid." So that's my opinion about remakes in general. I think it's lazy. I think it's unnecessary. It's unjustified. The fans don't like them. There's no appetite among fandom for doing it. It's only being done to make a quick buck on the back of already established work. And my feeling is that money should be invested in finding new talent. Let's find the new Sam Raimis and Toby Hoopers and Wes Cravens and Clive Barkers. You know, when Hellraiser was made, Clive had never directed a grown-up movie, so to speak, in his life. Never worked on a full-scale professional movie set. And I think now, even if someone accepted Hellraiser, if we imagine a universe in which Hellraiser didn't exist, I suspect if Clive went into Dimension's offices on Monday morning and pitched Hellraiser, they'd turn him down because of the sadomasochism and the rest of it. Because everybody wants PG-13 horror movies now, and I wish they'd stop it, because it waters everything down and it's horrible. But even if they were to take the story, take the script, I'm damn certain that they wouldn't let Clive direct it. They would find a director with a track record to do it. But New World took the plunge on Clive. And they, thank God they did, because nobody else could have directed Hellraiser and made it work in the way that Clive did. Sorry, that was a very long-winded answer, but the simple answer is, as far as the remake goes, if I had anything to tell you, I would. Beyond what people are reading on the internet, I don't know anything more.
Do you have a favorite kill from any of your Hellraiser movies?
Not really. That's kind of Kane Hodder territory.
Okay.
counting kills and obsessing over which ones were favorites. He's not a big killer,
right?
Really. He's fairly select about who he goes for. He's a man of taste, I like to think. We went a little wild in Hellraiser 3. Wiped out a whole nightclub few hundred right there. But if I went to one, only because I think it's something that all of us have wanted to do to annoying DJs at some point, would be the killing of the CD DJ in Hellraiser 3 with his own CDs. It was pretty cool.
Do you have any favourite lines that you had delivered in the Hellraiser movies?
Lots, because I was so lucky, because I had, I've always said, really, what did I do? I have that makeup, that costume, and those lines put into my mouth. All I had to do was turn up on time and stand on my mark. The rest is easy, really. I'll tear your soul apart.
We'll tear your soul apart.
And the one I just mentioned, which I do remember being one that I underlined, was one of the first lines I grabbed a hold of reading the screenplay, and I wrote next to it, gag, because I was making a note to myself that I had to make people laugh in an uncomfortable kind of way, and that was, no tears, please.
Right.
It's a waste of good suffering.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Your suffering will be legendary even in hell.
Your suffering will be legendary even in hell.
Time to play, I am pain.
Time to play. I am pain.
We have such sights to show you.
We have such sights to show you.
I have all eternity to know your flesh.
We have eternity to know your flesh.
You know, I mean, they go on. I'm reading the screenplay going, oh. And also observing that there was very deliberately on Clive's part in the original screenplay, he'd written down for the other characters. And when I say that, I mean that people will be familiar from Clive's short stories and novels that he has quite a high style, poetic style with his horror, which is how he's always written, because that's how his mind works. But he'd very much written down into cinema-ese for the other characters. When he got to Pinhead, all the poetry came out.
Right.
So I had all that contrast working in my favor as well. So my eyes were just lighting up as I went from line to line through the screenplay.
Do you have a favourite memory from working on the Hellraiser films?
Not really, to be honest. No. I mean, it's the moments are the moments in the moment. I mean, I could talk about a ton of stuff, but if you ask me to pick out one in particular, I'll go completely blank.
Are there any other projects that you are working on that you would like our viewers to know about?
I have a few scripts at the moment, but I don't know about those, and experience teaches me not to talk about them until they're definitely happening, because the more you talk about them, the more they go away. And there are strange movies that kind of follow you around. There was a movie called The Fourth Reich a few years ago. People are actually asking me now how filming went on that movie, and I have signed merchandise from that, and the movie has never been made, so it gets kind of weird. Personally, we've just kind of reached the conclusion of the Spine Chillers series, the audiobook recordings, classic horror stories, Poe and Lovecraft, Ambrose Bierce, Dickens, Rudyard Kipling, Arthur Conan Doyle, and many more, lying here in front of us as we speak. So we completed 13 volumes of that, and I think that's 38 CDs, 62 stories, and 11 poems. We recorded a lot of Edgar Allan Poe's poems as well, and I got Robert Englund and Jeffrey Combs to come in as guest readers for a few things through the series, so I'm very proud of that. Audible.com has called it the largest collection of classic horror stories on audiobook ever.
Oh, I'm going to check that out.
So that box set is available right now.
Okay, well, where can everyone go to keep up to date with what you're doing and purchase?
I have a Facebook fan page. I don't do Facebook.
Okay.
I hate social media. There was a T-shirt I wanted to buy which had the Facebook logo,
Right.
but it was an H, so it was an H in the box rather than an F. And then it read, "How about we all leave each other the fuck alone for 5 minutes?" book.
I'm all about that.
That's for me. So the fan page, we post stuff on, and I get involved sometimes. So people can keep up to date there or at my website, which is dougbradley.com.
Perfect. So, are there any final words you'd like to leave our viewers?
Not really. I mean, as I say, I don't take any of this for granted. It is a wonderful fan base, and I love you.
Well, we love you too. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Everyone, stay tuned.